Time for another desert reflection. Um, I um, I was recently talking with someone about this idea of truth and reconciliation. It's a topic that goes on in our society, and since this is not a political post, I'm not going to really talk about that. But it sparks to me to talk about it when it comes to therapy and parenting. Is that we, for some reason, as parents, we tend to think in very short-term thinking. So, for example, our children, and we get after our children when they're short-term thinkers, but we tend to do the same in some ways that really matter and are ineffective. For example, let's say that I, as a parent, have spent, let's say my child's 15 years old, and I've spent the last and they're ADHD, and so I spent the last 10 years correcting, arguing, yelling, being frustrated, um, you know, um, getting after them, uh, saying things that I didn't mean, etc. And then I enter treatment, and I realize, wow, I really need to make a difference. Something needs to be different here. I can't just um, um, you know, let it be how it is. So I start to make a change, start to, make repair and apologize. And let's say a month in, I say to myself, well, or I say to a therapist, they're just not letting go. I mean, they won't forgive, right? They just keep bringing up the old stuff. And the answer is, well, of course. Why wouldn't they? Why would I ever think that 10 years of repair could be achieved in a month? Um, it could take years, and in fact, the damage may be large enough that it never is quite what I want it to be, but still can be something very, very beautiful. Um, After doing that much, damage for 10 years, and that's assuming I've been a great parent. I'm not even talking about, um, abuse or any form of neglect or anything else. So we all fall on that continuum somewhere, and I'm saying I'm not including the abuse because I'm not. If you're in that category, then this is a very different conversation. Well, it's the same conversation, I guess, but in a much more severe way. Um, so let's take the time, right, to understand the truth of our behavior within the context of our children's perspective and what they've experienced. And when we step into that place of, okay, I'm ready to start doing repair, right? I'm ready to start facing the truth, engaging in reconciliation work, repentance, whatever you want to call it, if you want religious terms, non-religious terms, whatever terms you want to use. That takes a long time. Partially it takes a long time because the odds are that you're still actually causing harm while you are repairing. You don't stop magically and be done, right? Um, without continuing to do harm, and so you're trying to repair as you're doing harm. And let's also stop justifying it. I think that we're afraid. Well, what if my child uses it against me, right? What if they justify their behavior based on mine and escape their own accountability and responsibility? I don't want that to happen. Or, I didn't do it on purpose. I didn't mean to. It's what I grew up with. It's what I knew. All that really matters is that harm was done. Even if you're the perfect parent, but just correcting your child that often caused harm and now requires repair work. And opening yourself up to that repair work and the journey. It's you see, there's a philosophy, right? You open the door, you step into the darkness, you step into the unknown, you step out into the void, right? Whatever metaphor you want to use, and you don't know what it's going to look like, and that can be scary. So that's why it's easy to resort to kind of short-term thinking. That it should be done now already, or we get scared, we get overwhelmed, we question ourselves. Get some help, get some support when you're doing it, but don't be afraid to step into the recognition of the truth of what it means to be human and to be a parent, and the damage that can be done, and the truth of what that means for making repair, changing, healing the relationship, having the relationship be a primary focus in our journey. There's much more I can say about that, but mostly just want to get people thinking, get the wheels turning inside about what that would look like if I were to really truly embrace the work of truth, reconciliation, honesty within relationship to my parenting with my children versus wanting to just move on. Embrace it. It's scary, terrifying, and probably the most beautiful work that you will ever do in your life. Yeah, that's my encouragement and my thought. Have a wonderful week. Thanks.